Hello folks, it's Forward again. So I'm back here standing with a tank and getting ready to solo my way through Asylum Sanctorum. Yeah, no, if you honestly believe that, then you have more faith in me than I do. No, we're here to once again show off a tank. Because I have pretty much finished off this build, and this is my vet tank build. Will pretty much handle almost all vet content in the game. And when I say that, I'm talking about it's gone through the Craggle and Threesome on vet. It's gone through VSS on vet. It's gone through every dungeon in the game. If you're looking for a good solid vet tank build, this is it. It is not meta, and it's gonna make some of those high-end end-game trial guilds mad at you, which is an added bonus in my opinion, and here's why. So if we look at the sets, we're running an Ice Staff of Leeching on the back bar, and then our main bar we have Leeching Plate, Warden's Courage, and Shield of Leeching. For our monster set, we are running Lord Warden, although I also hang on to Stonekeeper and Engine Guardian, and we'll swap these out depending. With this, I have a combination of Divine up top, Divine chest, Divine shoulders, Sturdy body, just because it reduces the cost of that blocking, with Divine feet. And you see, these feet are still blue. I have not golded any of this out, and it's made it through some of the toughest content in the game, and it is a very solid build. You have the Neck of Leeching, Ring of Leeching, and really and truly these, you should enchant them to whatever you need for recoveries. This max health all the way down, and then max stam on the shield. Never hurts to have that extra little bit of stam. And then this grants damage shield if you swing it. If you don't, that's okay. Life Drain enchantment just restores health in case you have to use this to restore magic, which is what it's really for. Now, so that's the gear. That's what your gear looks like. For food, you're running Bewitched Sugar Skulls because it gives you a lot of stam, a lot of mag, a lot of health, and most importantly, you get 462 health recovery. Potions, Tri-Stats, Crown Tri-Stats, because you get a crap ton of them. If you have ESO Plus, work great. If you don't, you can just go and make some Tri-Stats. Those work just as well. Now, for your champion points, on this guy, I have found that what you are looking at is Ironclad, then Unassailable, Enduring Resolve, Duelist for buff, over here in the red tree. Swap these around however you need. These Rejuvenation, Fortified, and Boundless Vitality. I have these set up on pretty much all my builds because they're really nice set and forget, and if I need to swap something out, I will. Sometimes I'll run Strategic Reserve, or in this particular case right now, I reduce my damage blocking while under the effect. I reduce my damage taken while blocking while under the effects of a damage shield. So basically, what that means is, because some of these champion points can sound a little bit weird, 10% damage reduction. All that means is that when I'm blocking and I have a shield up, I reduce my damage taken by 10%. So instead of an attack hitting me for 10k, it hits me for 9k. May not seem like a lot, but when you get up into those harder hitting attacks from bosses, it does matter. Now, the reason why, and that's pretty much your build. For skills, you are looking at Boundless Storm because it jacks your physical and spell resistances. You're looking at the Unstable Clan Fear. This is your self-heal. You have to run him on both bars to keep him alive. Your Hardened Ward. This is a magic tank, magic of sorcerer tank. I run it on a Breton. Bound Aegis. Now, you don't ever use this, but it does give you minor protection. And it also jacks your max magic by 8%. If you proc it, you get minor protection, but the real reason we have it is because it increases your max magic by 8%, and it gives you minor resolve. So you have minor resolve here, and this gives you major resolve here, putting us at nearly the 35,000 damage cap. This is your main taunt, Pierce Armor. And I run Spell Wall as an ulti on the back bar. Now, a lot of people are going to want you to run Warhorn or Barrier. That's fine. Run that on your back bar. Remove Absorption Field from there. Run Warhorn or Barrier here. But for me, I keep this here, because on our back bar, we have our Chain Pull. We have our Blockade of Frost. This is where the Ice Staff comes in. Also, Ice Staves have a lot of really nice blocking buffs. Our Magic of Taunt. And this one, Dark Deal. Bargain with the Darkness to restore health, but most importantly, this is the Dark Exchange morph that restores stamina, not magic. Now, why are we restoring stamina, not magic? We're on a tank. Why does that matter? Well, let's go into character and have a look here. I split my champion points evenly. That's about what you're going to do on every tank. But if you'll notice, I have more mag than I do stam. That is because I am trading in that Dark Deal to constantly trade magic for stam. So when you get low on stam, you're gonna, and you don't have a potion that you can pop off, you're gonna hit Spell Wall. While Spell Wall is up, it's blocking for you. You're gonna bar swap, and then you're gonna hit this 2 to 3 times. That's gonna give you most of your stam back. Bar swap back, you're good to go. And that's what you do every time you run low on stam. The reason why in-game guilds will get grumpy with you for running this, which I find hilarious, is that you run Spell Wall as your ulti, and you just have Barrier or Warhorn slotted on the back bar. The other thing is that these sets are for you. They are not for your. They are not for the whiny DPS. They aren't for the healers. Well, they're for the healers a little bit in that they keep you alive better and you take less damage. But they aren't for the whiny DPS who always want the boss to have lower resistances so they can burn it down faster. You know what? Screw that. There's only one thing that matters as a tank. Taunt the boss. Stay alive. Taunt the boss. Stay alive. Hold taunt. Stay alive. Are you catching the theme here? The only thing that matters is that you make that boss punch you in the face again and again and again, and you stay alive. If it takes the DPS an extra 5 minutes to burn something down, then it takes the DPS an extra 5 minutes to burn something down. The only thing that actually matters is that you can tank the boss and stay alive and hold multiple things at a time if need be. And with this, that's what you can do. The thing about tanking, though, and I'll say this is my build. Feel free to use it if you want to. But ultimately, what you run on a tank as far as sets go is up to you. I do recommend having a series of monster sets, because like Stonekeeper, it gives you a stack that when you hit 6 charges, so basically every time you block an attack you get a charge, and then when you hit 6 charges it releases energy and it restores some magic and stamina. This is really good for restoring stamina and health if you need it. Again, Engine Guardian, same thing. The thing about bosses is each fight's going to be a little bit different. It's going to be a little bit more unique. I tend to run Ward Warden a lot just because it gives me extra resistances. But I will, depending, I mean, inside the same trial, I have run Lord Warden, Stonekeeper, and Engine Guardian all at the same time. Well, not all at the same time, but all at different fights on different bosses, because each boss presents a different challenge. And as a tank, remember, your only job is taunt the boss, stay alive. Taunt the boss, stay alive. If people want debuffs on the boss, that's fine and dandy. Your job as the tank, hold that taunt, keep that boss punching you, and you stay alive. And the way this build works is actually real simple. Now, again, like I said, this thing has gone through most vet stuff in the game. I mean, you're looking at clearing every vet dungeon, all the Craglorn trials on vet. It's cleared VSS on vet. Which that's mainly because I had an incredible healer and was constantly proccing the damage shield. And again, I'm running selfish tank sets. That is your job. Run selfish tank sets. And again, remember folks, this is what I consider to be a vet tank build. And I don't care what other people, want me to run to debuff the boss. I care about making sure that boss is focused on me and not on them. This is a hill I'll die on every time. It doesn't matter what they want you to run as far as debuffing the boss and buffing the group. Your job as a tank isn't to buff the group. Your job as a tank is to, particularly as a main tank, keep that boss alive. Okay, so the group so if you're off tank, you may want to run something a little bit different as an off tank for buffing the group. But as a main tank, you're only... Ask anyone in any end game content, and they'll say above all else, stay alive. Now they're going to then follow that up with, and we want you to... No. When they say, and we want you to, don't listen to anything after that. What you only need to worry about is taunting what you're supposed to taunt, holding what you're supposed to hold, and staying alive. And for that, this build is, in my experience, the best one I've come up with so far for doing that. And I'll show you how it works, because again, this boss, even though this is on normal, he's really good for just testing a tank to see how it does. So if you build your own tank, feel free to compare it to this video and see what you think. Now we're going to back up a little bit farther. Okay, we're going to block that, proc that. Proc your shield as much as you think you need to. If you notice with leeching, we're getting a constant heal back. And then we're going to walk up, stab it in the face. And this is literally it. With Ward Warden proc, he barely even hurts us. Okay, well, I'd say we were running low on stam. Oh, let's pop that. Okay, now look, our stam is back at 100%. Proc that damage shield is off. Like right here. I'm going to proc it multiple times just to survive that. Also, Brains of Imperium helps a lot with that. The hardened ward on a Magsorc actually is really powerful. I'm going to show you what Spell Wall does. We're going to throw that. Throw down our Blockade of Frost. Bar swap back. You're done. That's literally all you have to do. Spam cast that damage shield. Now we're running into a problem here. Oh, wait, look. We got out of it. And we were actually gaining health back anyway. So. And that is literally the tank. That is all you have to worry about as far as tanking goes on this build. Now obviously you might have to, move around, and it's honestly better if you move out of a lot of that damage. But on this trial, what you'd actually be doing, ow, hurt buddy, you'd come down here, and you'd pull the boss down here, and you'd get your own healer. And you would just stand here while all the DPS burned it from behind. Oh, look, we're running. Oh, shoot. I'm going to roll all the way out of that. And, hey, look, we have our magic back. And now I'm going to let him kill me. It's going to take him. It might take him a second. Let's see how long it takes. I always find this part interesting. Oh, nope, he's about to kill me. Yep, there it goes. 47 gallon Scalding Roar. Again, folks, this is simply what I think a tank build should be. Are there tank builds out there that are better than this one? Probably. But for me, this is what I think works best. And remember, your only goal: taunt that boss, hold that boss, pointing to where you're supposed to pointing according to the mechanics and according to how your group's going to fight it. But your job is not to debuff the boss. Your job is to stay alive. Let the DPS and the healers worry about their own debuffs on the boss. Your job, your only job, is taunt that boss and stay alive. Because as long as you're alive and taunting that boss, nobody else is taking damage. The healers are going to be happy because they only have to worry about healing you and a little bit of healing on the group. Then the DPS are going to be grumpy because their DPS isn't going to be as high and it's going to be taking them longer to burn it down. But you know what? DPS tend to be whiny little babies a lot of the time. And I say this as someone who hits 100k DPS on my other characters. And I'll go ahead and tell you, DPS tend to be whiny little babies sometimes. They can get over it. Taunt the boss. Stay alive. I said it in my last tank video. I'll say it again in this one. That is your only job as a tank. And that is a hill I am willing to die on until the end. One final note is, as far as Munduses go, simply because it slipped my mind, run whatever Mundus you think you need to. For this particular tank, you want to run you want to run the mage. If you are rebuilding this tank, you are running the mage, all the gear I showed you, all the skills I already showed you, and for your race, you are going with Breton because you get max magic. You get spell resistance, which is really nice. And you get an extra 130 magic recovery. And here's the big kicker: the cost of all your magic abilities is reduced by 7%. So what's that mean? That means that this costs 7% less to cast, which, you know, if you're in a situation where you're having to spam casting it, that really matters. That means that this heal that hits for 15k costs 7% less. This costs 7% less. This 7% less. Even this costs 7% less. And for me, that is my vet tank build. Thank you and have a wonderful day, folks.